Welcome back to Anchor Designs. I'm James, and today we are going to be making a bench grinder rack storage thingy-majig. So I've got some 80x80mm box by 3mm thick, and we're going to be making a basic kind of a T-frame with a vertical piece going up here, and we're going to use two 45-degree angles here. We need to weld up the base, and with the 45 degrees we're going to be using these, which is, I think it's called T-slot shelving brackets. These are available here in Great Britain pretty much everywhere, and to take these like a pressed out bracket. You know, if you haven't seen these before, they're stuff for like doing storage, shelving, that type of thing in your garage, but I used it with the retail shop video that I did. It's worked great. What I'm finding is I've got 4 bench grinders now, and I don't want them near my lathe. My lathe is covered with a nice cover, but I kind of don't want it anywhere near, so I'm kind of thinking move kind of this stuff out the way, move the anvil, and I can have this frame up here set up pretty nicely. And then when that's all done, we're going to bolt this onto here, like so. And what this is going to allow us to do is adjust it. So if I buy another bench grinder, which I'll probably replace the little one that I bought, which is a Parkside, and then that would give me kind of, apart from the record one. Okay, so I do have a little bit of a thing for bench grinders, admittedly. This is the one that I probably use the most, which is a Wolf bench grinder, which is very, very nice. You cannot store this very easily, which is great. This is the cheap one that I was on about, which is the Parkside one, and to be honest, for what it is, it does fine. But you know, stuff like this, and you compare that to me is very, very nice, very, very pretty. It's a Baldor, or a Baldor, however you pronounce it. It's an American one, that's very, very nice. This, you can probably see, is a Record Power one. It's branded as Sheffield, but yeah, they're just rebranded Chinese-made bench grinders. Nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong, and I got it for an absolute bargain. But kind of what I want to do is have everything in one vertical piece in a corner of the workshop that can be like the dirty area. I want to be starting doing more woodworking, and well, I want to be doing more of everything really, and especially in the situation that we're in, we're probably going to get a bit more chance to do so. But I've got 2 belt sanders, I've got a 10-inch disc, and I've got a 4-inch belt sander that I've got, and a little small disc sander, and I kind of want to have this as a bit more of a woodworking station. I had a phone call, sorry about that, I had a phone call. Where was it? So I'm wanting to kind of move this section here away, because it gets everything else really mucky, which I knew was going to happen. But especially in the next few weeks, I'm probably going to be doing more restorations of, I've got some antique vices, I've just bought a very old table saw that I want to get restoring, so I'm going to be using this area a lot. And this is just going to, you know, make everything else pretty dirty. And I kind of don't want to do that. So if I can keep this area a little bit cleaner where I can, and probably focus this more on more larger tool storage. So I've got a Myford bandsaw that I need to restore. I've got an Elu chop saw as well. That's a bit of a ball ache to use. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm going to move all this stuff around. I'm going to make a rack today to put those on. So yeah, let's get started. My plans were, as well, is the two base plates was to fill those up with sand and weld in sand on the bottom to keep as much weight on there. Not that with a bench grinder you should be really, you know, pushing in with it, and you're not going to have a lot of force on that. So I don't know, I'm a bit undecided at the minute, so I'm gonna leave it for a bit, make a brew, and have a think about it. We'll speak soon. I can't make my bloody mind up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't make my mind up. I kind of logically logically, it's going to be the best way, I think, here. And the reasoning behind that is, for me, I can open the door and I can have a fan blowing here, and I can move it out. The weight of the bench grinders is not a lot, so they're going to be fine on those brackets. Those brackets are quite amazing what they can actually, that they're actually rated for. So I don't think there's going to be any issues there as such. I don't know, I think the angle's going to really annoy me, but I'm going to get better light. I can put a board behind it. It's going to have all my angle grinders in one place. The base is going to be nice and solid. And it's going to be quite fitting here in the workshop. It's going to be nice and easy to move when I move out of this workshop. I don't know. I'll probably put that on the base because I want one bench grinder for drill bits. I want one for tool, one for just grinding and sharpening roughing chisels. One for removing rust. So my Wolf one wants to be about here so I can see it. And I'll probably put the polisher at the top so it's going to have the least amount of dust on it. And as well, I'm going to be welding caps onto these. I can put one of the flexi angle poise lamps on. From the top, you're probably not in frame, you probably don't know what I'm on about. But at the top here, I can put on a light that I can move and adjust. The lighting in my workshop is probably too good because it messes with my camera a little bit. But I think I'm going to go for that. And if I don't like it, that's why God invented the angle grinder. So, you know, it should be alright. Do I like the angle? Let's put a bench grinder on it and do a, you know, a rough one. I just know as soon as I put this on YouTube, I'm going to get comments saying it's not straight. Yeah, I know it's not. And I'm just going to spend the next, well, the lifespan of however this is, or whether this dies first or I die first, of trying to explain to people why it's on an angle. And I've also thought with the shelf brackets that maybe I should have some longer ones so you can like stagger them up. But I don't think that's going to bug me, being on an angle. And then at the back I can have like a sheet to cover, you know, any dust going that way, and I say a fan can go there, so try and, you know, blast the dust out. I thought that this was going to be, weld a few box sections together. It's going to be fine. It's going to look great. You're going to get over Corona and you're going to walk off to the sunset with your new fancy grinder bracket. I just don't think it's going to happen now. More thinking. Okay, it is a square, which means there is 4 sides. So I could, if I had more room, I could put a bench grinder going that way, then one going that way, then one going that way, then one going that way. But then I feel like you're only going to use one wheel, and the other wheel is going to be a bit of a ball ache to use. Yeah, I don't think it's right. I think it's got to be this way. And any movement is going to be moved. You know, it's going to push back, and the frame it's an A-frame, so it's going to be nice and secure and strong. It's fully adjustable. I think this angle here is what's going to annoy me. But it means the light is going to be able to get to it. If I was to have it straight, I'll drop them. So I think the angle of the dangle is going to be where we're at, personally. And we're in the middle of the coronavirus, and I don't have any sand. Is sand a needable item? You know, do people need to make castles? Are we allowed to buy sand anymore? We're now back in the workshop, and I did change it very last minute. So instead of beveling the base of this and having everything flat, I'll show you what I mean. I've moved the post down, kept everything square, so it's got 3 points of contact on the ground. So no matter where I put it, you know, this is always going to be, as you can see, unless you move it, it's always going to be level. I haven't got any sand. And I can't get any sand for a while, so I haven't welded on the 2 end caps. I've done the top, but I'm going to semi-fill this when I can, and I'll fill up the 2 bases and I don't know, a quarter of this, maybe an eighth of this, to then fill that up and weigh it down a little bit more. But I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if I can ever get sand again. Who knows? I have got a shovel, but I know I live near water, but there's no beaches around here. So I've kind of got to live with it for now. If I need to, I can always put a sack of something on it, or I can put the anvil on the base of it just so it doesn't move. But it is the same angle that I wanted. It's the right, it's sturdy. You've seen, I mean, it can take 18 stone of me jumping up and down on it, so it's going to be pretty strong. So now what we've got to do is position these onto here, which consists of drilling and tapping these on. And I'm just going to try and work out what's going to be the best place to put these on, because obviously you can't use a bench grinder if it's up here, and you can't really use one down there. So I'm just going to try and find the best place for this to go. So I'll probably drill this off camera and you get an idea. Alright, so I thought I may as well go through it with you. I am going to be using some of these, which are M6 countersunk head tops, and this is a roll form section. So this gets rolled out of some flat steel, and I've got a progressively folds up to make this channel, and then these are probably punched out. Well, probably punched out first, and then these are formed with a special countersink punch, if you like. So these aren't the best of fit. These are more designed for your typical wood screws to go in here, but I'm using this obviously because it's metal. Now the wall thickness of this is just over 3 millimeters. Well, it's actually more. I think it's about 4 mil on this. Now this isn't taking a lot of weight. If this was taking a lot of weight, the ideal situation would be to use something like a flow drill. Which I'll, if I can, I'll put up a little shot of what it means. But what it is a solid carbide tip, and it effectively melts the steel, and then you tap, so it's forming more material and pushing that material down to make something to thread onto. So it could extend the material up to about 6 mil. I don't have one of those. They're pretty expensive, and I don't actually think a pillar drill I own, apart from the milling machine, would be able to have the speed. Because I think it takes quite a lot of speed. So yeah, this is just taking some bench grinders. There's plenty of these to go down. There's 4 bolts that we're going to have to drill and tap onto here, and I think it's going to be fine. So we'll see. If it doesn't, we've got 3 weeks to fix it and put it right. So yeah. Okay, first we're going to center punch everything through, and I'm going to use one of these, which if you haven't seen one of these before, it's called an automatic center punch. This in particular one is made by Eclipse. People like Starrett. I think Snap-on do one actually. But yeah, they're probably made by either Eclipse or Starrett, or, you know, you can get the cheap Chinese ones. They're made out of brass. They're pretty bad. I'd still would probably get an Eclipse one or a Starrett one if you're, you know, if you're going to be using it quite a bit. But all you do is you put it on here, and it's just going to be able to give you a small little mark just there. A lot of the time as well, I'll either go in twice or I'll get a physical center punch to then just make that a little bit deeper, but this will do fine. Okay, with this we're going to use a 5mm drill bit and then use a M6 tap, which is obviously one of those. With both the drilling and the tapping, I'm going to use some Sherwood tapping fluid. It's drilling, sawing, etc. This is a paste, so you can get, I do use the oil type one, which is fine. This just kind of, I'm painting this after, so I don't want a bead of oil running down this. For something like this, I find that the paste is a lot better because you can just use some like brake cleaner to degrease it just before you're about to paint it. So just a little tip there. Okay, well, we've done the first one, and it's, you know, it's nice and level. I think it's quite important for, you know, to get that pretty cock on. I mean, don't get me wrong, this floor that I'm on, we're on quite a big slope, but as long as you're kind of, you know, in the ballpark, then it should be fine. No, that's good enough for me. So off camera, I'm just going to drill all these out, get all that sorted, and then we'll probably take these off. Well, we're going to take these off and then grind up the top, just clean up those welds a little bit. And then we'll get everything painted, and then we'll do some woodwork. Yeah. Okay, you use a little bit of imagination here, but we've got one of the bench grinders on here, probably the heaviest, that's why I picked it. It was already loose. And yeah, no, I'm pretty pleased with that. Even with one on the top, I'm still going to be, yeah, I'm still going to be pretty happy with that. I'll probably put the record on the top, or do I put the polishing wheel on the top? Because you can, I don't know, I might have to make another one. Wire wheel down here. It's going to be the safest way. You don't want it wire wheel up here because it's going to go in your eyeballs. So I think here for the wire wheel one. Maybe this one at the bottom. I love this. I love the look of this grinder. And I was looking for a Wolf one. You know, the Wolf, the red one, the very, very old one. But they're quite hard to find in single phase, and I'm not actually sure if they exist in single phase. The ones I've ever seen have been single. And I'd love one of those, but I think everybody else would, so they're quite rare. But this is equally as nice. I think there should have been a handle there. And this is going to have a restoration on it at some point. So if you want to see that, you should subscribe, because then you will see that. Had a few issues with my chop saw. I've just changed it for a new blade, and I don't remember changing it the angle wise, but Yeah, scrapped off a little bit of wood, but never mind, we've got there. So we have our shelves. A part of me thinks I should notch a corner out the centre of these, which I could do. I mean, the ugliest thing on this is the brackets and these, but I kind of can't get away from that, to be honest. I'm going to screw them down, see how they go. I'm going to mark the centres from this point here, and I'm just going to use that to line up with the centre of the box section, just to keep me squaring in line. Hey guys, that's going to be a wrap for this episode, and I'm really pleased with the results. It is nice and sturdy. I haven't bolted all these down yet, and I need to tidy up the cables. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some P-clips, and they have like you put the tie wrap through them, and I'm going to tidy up all the cables. And again, as soon as I can get some sand, I'm going to fill up the base just to make it that little bit more bottom heavy. But there's very minimal horizontal space, so I'm not going to be leaving stuff on there, which is kind of what I like. And everything's kind of done in one. I don't think I'll position it in this area of the workshop. I might move it back just a touch. But yeah, that's kind of the shape of it. Holds up really nicely, and I've got plenty of light. If this was vertical, I think I'd struggle with seeing things, to be honest. But I'm right near the door, so I can blow a fan out there while still wearing a mask, of course. But yeah, no, pleased to bits with it. Pleased to bits with it. I could do with giving my grinders a bit of a clean up, but apart from that, yeah, pleased with that. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.